Hello dear students, welcome back again to Chenmoy's YouTube channel. So today we are here with a brand new episode of circulatory system. So in the previous episode we have already discussed about the endocrine system in full. So I think you have all gone through those episodes of endocrine system. So please go through it, and this is the second part of the physiology part in your study, in your curriculum. So we are here with circulatory system part 1. So let's get started with today's episode of circulatory system. So what are the learning objectives of today's lesson? So by the end of this lesson, we will be knowing about blood and its components, types of blood vessels, structure of human heart, and the heart's natural pacemaker. So in 6th standard also you have gone through circulatory system, but that was in a bit smaller portion you have done. Now in 8th you are going to learn a bit details, and in 10th you will learn this lesson only in a huge form, so that there are many more things which are being added to this lesson in the 10th standard. So 6th, 8th and 10th you are continuing the same circulatory system, same blood vessels, heart, and several other components of the circulatory system are being added as you are growing up to 10th standard. So whatever is there in this curriculum I have discussed in this video. So let's get started without further delay, and please do subscribe to my channel to know more regarding not only this lesson, because many upcoming lessons are there which I'm going to post. So subscribe to my channel, press the bell icon, share my lessons, and if you are having any queries, any doubts, please do write in my comment box so that I can get back to you with the answers. So let us start with today's episode. Now first we are here to deal with the blood and its components. So what is blood? We all know that what is blood? Blood is a fluid connective tissue and which circulates and transports the essential substances such as oxygen and nutrients to the cells all over the body. Is it clear? So it is a fluid connective tissue. Why it is called connective tissue? It is connecting throughout the body, all parts of the body. It is circulating and it is acting as a connective tissue, and it is transporting substances like oxygen and nutrients to different parts of the body. Now blood is composed of what? It is composed of plasma and blood cells. So these are the components of blood. So there are 3 types of blood cells. First one are the red blood cells, or the RBC. These are also called erythrocytes, and they are red in color because of the presence of red colored iron protein called the hemoglobin. Okay, so this heme is the iron part and globin is the protein part. Okay, so iron protein, this iron, red color comes from the heme part, that is the iron part. So this all you have already learned in 6th standard, so it's just a quick revision of your 6th lesson. Now next comes the WBCs, which are larger than RBCs and they do not contain any hemoglobin, so they are colorless. Okay, so WBCs are larger and they are not containing any hemoglobin part, so they are colorless. Next comes the blood platelets, and these are also colorless. They are disc-shaped cells without nuclei. So these platelets are colorless and they are disc-shaped and they are without nuclei. So we will see the structure of these components in the next slide. Now here the blood components, this diagram I have brought you here. So let us see, these are red blood cells. So which one are the red blood cells which are red in color? Because of the presence of the heme content. So these are all red blood cells. Is it clear? So WBCs are larger than RBCs and they do not contain hemoglobin. So this is the WBC. It is larger than the RBC and they do not contain hemoglobin. So they are white in color. Okay, and the blood platelets are colorless. They are disc shaped and they are without nucleus. So these are the platelets. They are without nuclei, and blood is carried throughout the body inside through several tube-like structures called blood vessels. So that blood vessels we will be studying in the next slide. So let us see here, these are red blood cells or erythrocytes. These are platelets or thrombocytes. And when it comes to these white blood cells, we can see that white blood cells are again divided into 6 or 7 types. So this you will be studying in the higher classes like 10th standard: basophil, neutrophil, eosinophil, monocytes and lymphocytes. So all these are having different functional properties. So when you are telling white blood cells, you are telling these are a set of different cell types. So basophil, neutrophil, eosinophil, monocyte and lymphocytes. So these all fall under the category of white blood cells. Now this red blood cells, these are white blood cells, and these are platelets. So platelets are without any nuclei. So, and they are, we can say that they are acting as the cell which helps us to fight against infection. So these are all for your higher classes. For this class, it's just mere just an idea of WBC, RBC and platelets are present in your blood, and these are the main components of blood. Now we will move on with the blood vessels. So what are the blood vessels? Now, blood vessels is that blood is carried throughout the body inside hollow tube-like structures called the blood vessels. Now, blood vessels are of three types: arteries, veins, and capillaries. Now, blood is carried throughout the body inside through hollow tube-like, like pipe-like structures or pipelines. Now, as a pipe in a building, it is carrying water throughout the building. Like that, only in our body, the hollow tube-like structures, they are working as pipelines. So, these are blood vessels which are of three types, that is arteries, veins and capillaries. So let us see what are those. Now here I have taken the diagram of artery, vein and capillary. So let us see what are the arteries. So arteries, first you can see these are thick walled. So the wall of the artery is much thicker and they are carrying away blood from the heart to different parts of the body. So what is the function of the artery? So carrying blood from heart to different parts of the body, from heart to different parts of the body. Is it clear? Now, what are the function of veins? So, veins are what they are doing. They are thick-walled and they are thin-walled and they are carrying blood from different parts of the body towards the heart. So, they are carrying towards the heart from different parts of the body. So, it's just the opposite function. So, artery, they are having a very thick muscular walls and they are carrying blood from the heart to different parts of the body, whereas veins are carrying towards the heart from different parts of the body. Okay, so from different parts of the body. So this is the difference in function of both artery and vein. Both are carrying the blood, one away from the heart and one towards the heart. Now, what are the capillaries doing? So, this is the capillary. So, this is the structure of the capillary. It is having a basement membrane. There are endothelial cells. So, these are the erythrocytes which are passing through, erythrocytes or red blood cells which are passing through the capillary. So, capillaries these are also fine blood vessels which are connecting both the arteries and the veins. So, the function of the capillary is to connect the artery and the vein. So it is connecting the artery and the vein. So the function is to connect the artery and the vein. Is it clear? Now let us move on to the next one. So one important thing is here to note that all arteries are carrying oxygenated blood except the pulmonary artery, and all veins are carrying deoxygenated blood, that is except the pulmonary vein. So all the arteries in our body, they are planned to carry the oxygenated blood, that is the pure blood. Okay, the pure blood. And we can say that except the pulmonary artery, it carries impure blood, and all the veins except they are carrying deoxygenated blood or the impure blood. It is a common term. Okay, so deoxygenated blood means the blood with carbon dioxide, and oxygenated means the blood plus oxygen. So blood plus oxygen, and this one is blood plus carbon dioxide. So this is the deoxygenated blood. And except the pulmonary vein. So these two are very important exceptions, and questions are asked many times that which artery carries the deoxygenated blood. So the answer will be pulmonary artery. And which vein carries the oxygenated blood? That is, the answer will be the pulmonary vein. So when we come to the structure of the heart, when we come to the veins and arteries, how they are working in the heart, we will make mention of these two again. So let us move on to the next one. Now here comes the structure of the heart. So how does the heart look like? So see the diagram. So this is the structure of the heart. So it is a pear-shaped muscular organ located in the chest cavity. So what is the actual shape of the heart? So it is actually a pear-shaped organ, and your heart is roughly the size of your clenched fist. So clenched fist means if you fold your fist and you see that much is the rough size of your heart. So if you fold your fist and you see, check the what is the size of your clenched fist, that is the size of your heart. Now adult heart is 12 centimeter in length and 9 centimeter in breadth. And what is the weight of heart? It will be 300 grams. Now walls of the heart, they are made up of cardiac muscles which work tirelessly to keeping it working throughout the life. So if we are working throughout the day and night, our muscles feel tired, our hands, our feet, our brain, all are tired, but the heart muscle, they can't be tired. If they are tired, if they stop working, so we will die. So they tirelessly work throughout the life to constantly keep on pumping the blood throughout the body. So we need to keep our heart healthy, to exercise regularly, to walk regularly. So that is how we need to work our cardiac muscles properly. Now the heart is enclosed by a double layered sac called pericardium, which is filled up with the pericardial fluid. So what is the importance of this pericardial fluid? This fluid protects the heart from shocks, from jerks during contraction. So it is protecting the heart from shocks and jerks during any accidents, during any jerks. They are protecting the heart from this jerk or any shock. So this is the function of the pericardial fluid. When we come to the internal structure of the heart, there are two auricles and two ventricles. Now what are these? All these auricles are receiving chambers. They receive blood from different parts of the body, and they have thin walls, and they are also called the atria. Okay, so the left side of the heart, we can see that this is the left atrium. The left side of the heart, the left auricle and the left ventricle, they have the oxygenated blood. And the right side of the heart, the right auricle and the right ventricle, they are having deoxygenated blood. So left atrium, the left side of the heart, the left auricle and the left ventricle, they are having oxygenated blood. Okay, they are having, just remember these, they are having oxygenated blood, left auricle and left ventricle, whereas the right auricle and right ventricle, they are having deoxygenated blood. So when I am teaching, please make it clear that whatever you are learning, it should be proper from the basics. So two auricles and two ventricles. Auricles are receiving chambers. They receive blood from different parts of the body, and they are also called atria. They have thin walls. Whereas ventricles, when you come down, these two are ventricle. This is the left ventricle. This is the right ventricle. Now these are the lower chambers, and they have thick walls, and they pump out blood to different parts of the body. Now why do these ventricles have thicker walls than auricles? So you may get a question that why do these ventricles have thicker walls than the auricles? Because the auricles are also having blood and the ventricles are also having blood. Because the auricles are receiving chambers and the ventricles are pumping out blood, pumping the heart blood out of the heart. So with a greater pressure, as greater force is applied here, the muscles need to be thicker. At greater force or pressure is applied, so the walls of the muscle, the heart should be thicker in the ventricle. So for greater force and pressure application, the walls are thicker in ventricle. So as they are applying more force and more pressure, the walls are thicker in the ventricles. Okay, so ventricular walls are thicker. Is it clear? So ventricular walls are thicker than the auricle walls. Okay, now we will move on to the next one. Now in the internal structure of the heart, there is both the blood of auricle and ventricle, they're not mixing. So why they are not mixing? What is preventing them from mixing? So blood is flowing. So blood flows from the auricles to the ventricles, but it does not flow from one auricle to another or from one ventricle to another. Why? Because it is having a thick muscular wall between them, and this wall is called the septum. So in between this auricle and in between this ventricle, there is a thick muscular wall which is called the septum. So in between these two auricles, the wall is called the intra-auricular septum, and in between these two ventricles, it is called the interventricular septum. So in between these two, it is called the intra-auricular septum. And in between these two ventricle, it is called the interventricular septum. Is it clear? It is called the intra-auricular septum and it is called the interventricular septum. So this separates the heart into the left and the right side. So in between the two auricles, it is interauricular septum. In between the two ventricles, it is the interventricular septum. Now next, when we are proceeding with the internal structure of the heart, first we should know about the valves. So what are these valves? These valves are the doors which opens only in one direction. So there are 4 valves present in this heart. So bicuspid valve, you can see this is present between the left auricle and the left ventricle. So it is present in between the left auricle and the left ventricle. It is the bicuspid valve. So once the this blood is emptied from the left auricle to the left ventricle, this valve closes, because so that no more blood comes out to this ventricle before the ventricle is being emptied. Okay, so it is a one-way door like thing. So it will not backflow. It will prevent the backflow of the blood. And the tricuspid valve is present between the right auricle and the right ventricle. Okay, both bicuspid and tricuspid, they allow the blood to flow from the auricles to the ventricles, and they always prevent the backflow of the blood. Is it clear to all? So from in between the left auricle and the left ventricle, there are bicuspid valve. In between the right auricle and the right ventricle, it is the tricuspid valve. And both this bicuspid and the tricuspid valve, they prevent the backflow from the auricles to the ventricles, and the blood will not flow back to the auricles again. So valve is working properly. Next comes the pulmonary valve, which is present at the base of the pulmonary artery, and it allows the flow of the blood from the right ventricle to the pulmonary artery. So it is allowing the flow of the blood from the right ventricle to the pulmonary artery. Because of the presence of this pulmonary valve, it's allowing when it is open only from the right ventricle to the pulmonary artery, the blood is flowing. Again, the next one is the aortic valve, which is present at the base of the aorta. So aortic valve is present at the base of the aorta, which is the point of origin. When this valve opens, the blood, oxygenated blood from the left ventricle will flow to the aorta. Okay, is it clear? So from the left ventricle, the blood will flow to the aorta. So these are the four important valves present in the human heart: bicuspid, tricuspid, pulmonary and aortic. So pulmonary valve at the base of pulmonary artery, which is helping the blood to pass from the right ventricle to the pulmonary artery, and aortic valve present at the point of origin of the aorta, which is allowing the blood to flow from the left ventricle to the aorta. Now, is it clear to all of you? So these are all regarding the valves, regarding the chambers of the heart. Now we will move on to the next part. Now, when we are talking about the internal structure of the heart, the mention should be made regarding the blood vessels which are leaving or entering the heart. These are called the great blood vessels. Okay, so the mention should be made. So we are talking about the internal structure of the heart. So first comes the vena cava. So superior vena cava and the inferior vena cava. So superior vena cava brings blood from different parts of the upper part of the body, that is superior vena cava, and the inferior vena cava brings blood from the lower part of the body. So this is superior vena cava and this is inferior vena cava. So when you are drawing the label diagram of the heart, so I have given the label diagram of internal structure of the heart in each and every slide. Please go through it. Please practice the diagram of the heart with mentioning this labeling should be including all the blood vessels, all the chambers of the heart, all the valves. So you should always remember the main blood vessels which are entering and leaving the heart, all the valves present in the heart, and all the basic chambers. Is it clear? Now next comes the coronary arteries or the veins. There are two major coronary arteries which supply oxygenated blood to the heart muscles. On the other hand, there are coronary veins which return the deoxygenated blood to the right auricle. Okay, so right pulmonary veins are here which are bringing the oxygenated blood to the right auricle. Now this is the superior vena cava, this is the inferior vena cava. I've already told. So left pulmonary arteries and left pulmonary veins. So please see this diagram properly. So there are two major coronary arteries which supply oxygenated blood to the heart muscles, and on the other hand coronary veins carry deoxygenated blood to the right auricle. Is it clear? Now aorta, that is the main artery which arises from the left ventricle, and it is carrying oxygenated blood from the left ventricle to all parts of the body except the lungs. So aorta is arising from the left ventricle. You can see this aorta. This is the aorta which is arising from the left ventricle. It is carrying the oxygenated blood to different parts of the body. It is carrying oxygenated blood to different parts of the body except the lungs. Again, there comes the pulmonary artery. So pulmonary artery is carrying the deoxygenated blood from the ventricle, right ventricle, to the lungs. Why? For purification. So getting this deoxygenated blood to oxygenated, it is carrying the blood from the ventricles, from the right ventricle, to the lungs for the purification. So the purification process, the pulmonary arteries are carrying the blood from the right ventricle to the lungs. Now next comes the pulmonary veins. So here comes the pulmonary veins. The pulmonary veins, they are carrying the oxygenated blood from the lungs to the left auricle. So they are carrying oxygenated blood from the lungs and they are carrying it to the left auricle. So it is, this pulmonary vein is carrying the blood from the lungs. It is carrying the blood from the lungs to the left auricle. Is it clear? So oxygenated blood is there in the left auricle. It is then pumped to the left ventricle. This blood is carried through the aorta, two different parts of the body except the lungs. And the superior vena cava and inferior vena cava are bringing the deoxygenated blood to the right atrium, which is pumped to the right ventricle, and from the right ventricle it is carried through the pulmonary artery to the lungs to get it purified. So this is the whole process which is happening in the cardiac cycle. So I think it is clear to all of you. And in the next part, in the next video, we will be discussing about the different episodes of cardiac cycle and the different types of diseases or the problems which are there if your pacemaker, your pulse cells are not working properly. So let us see in the last slide what we are having. Now, what is the heart's natural pacemaker? So it is the SA node or the sinoatrial node. So this is a very important question. So this is very important topic which you are having. So when we are saying that it is the heart's natural pacemaker. So what is it? It is the SA node, a cluster of cells situated in the upper part of the right auricle at the sinoatrial node of the SA node. So sinoatrial node coordinates the heartbeats by generating electrical impulses. So electrical impulses there are several nodes in the heart. So this is the SA node. There is the AV node. This is the bundle of His. Okay, so there are several nodes in the heart, whereas this bunch of cells, they are coordinating the heartbeats by generating the electrical impulses, and it is called the natural heart pacemaker. So when the SA node is defective, the heart rhythms become abnormal. They are either too fast or they are too slow, or combination of both. So might be sometimes they are too fast, sometimes they are too slow. So that is the SA node functions too fast or too slow. Because of this natural pacemaker only, our heart system, it is working properly. And if there is a problem in this SA node, or whether if it is defective only, we need to put a pacemaker, that is an external thing or an external machine which is put here to maintain the pace or to generate the electrical impulses which are generally generated by this SA node itself. So I think today's lesson is clear to all of you. It was a bit vast lesson. I think please go through it. Please go through whatever textbook you are following. If you are unable to learn, unable to grasp any part of this lesson, please do go through this video again and again. Go through your textbook. If you're having any queries, any doubts, write in my comment box and let me explain it properly again. So please subscribe to my channel, stay tuned, stay updated with all the upcoming lessons which I am posting. So your next video, upcoming video, will be on the circulation of the blood, the double circulation of blood, and different aspects of the defects or the problems which we are facing if there is any abnormality of the heart. Okay, so stay tuned, stay updated with all my videos. Thank you.